Hello and welcome to News from the Real World podcast. I'm Andrew.
I'm Kevin.
I'm Caitlin.
And I'm Jordan.
We're here to talk to you today about the articles that are posted on the blog spot and that you can see down at the bottom of your screen. Please feel to visit and follow along as we discuss articles such as the article entitled Exoskeletons on the Job Site, ? It's on a website called remodeling.net, which I tried to figure out what that was. It seems almost maybe like it's sort of an advertising platform, but I couldn't really tell.
Maybe.
Jim Regan, and this is an editor pick, not a student pick, and it's about the Fortis, which is this exoskeleton aluminum frame that you fit around your body, as being designed by Lockheed Martin, the good people who brought you the C-130 and the U-2. And
It's drones.
those are big planes.
You heard it here.
U2 is a spy plane.
U-2 is a spy plane.
We don't have to get into
C-130
U2 again,
Hercules
do we?
is a cargo
All I
plane.
know is fantastic, but that's what
That's a powder keg.
My head is
Yeah.
right. Never talk about it here.
It's being developed by Lockheed Martin for the Navy as a prototype, basically to help their guys and gals do some lifting around the ship.
These gals.
It supports 36 pounds on its own. It's not powered. It's just a sort of structural assist. I don't know. The diminishing returns of something like this, it kind of jumped to my mind. Like, are we all going to become these flaccid, like, lumps of...
That's exactly what I thought. Have you guys seen WALL-E ever? Where they're like
Yeah.
on
Oh,
those
right,
chicken,
yeah,
they're
yeah.
like obese and they're
Oh
just
my
like
God.
being
Yeah.
like
or the
yeah.
Time Machine by H.G. Wells.
Let's
We
talk
have the
more
Eloy
about
and the-
Pixar.
No, we're all just gonna
That's
turn
a
into like
book, isn't it?
Yeah. I think there's a movie, but I didn't see it.
we're all just gonna
Probably.
turn into like larvae.
That's a book.
You know, we're just gonna like
I'm halfway
No, it's all
there.
larvae.
Well, okay, so that being said, that's like sort of the crazy
I'm painting
extreme.
a picture here if you don't mind.
Sorry. Did you want
No,
to...
go on. They've got it.
This is actually seems to be an attempt at something that isn't that, right? That is like
Right, yeah.
that is an assist. It assists a human being, but it doesn't take over for us.
Right, and
which-
you're doing kind of superhuman activities, possibly like lifting a lot more.
Well, that's
than
only
you would.
36 pounds.
Yeah, but that was without effort. I got the impression like, oh, so I could lift.
That's like your average baby weight, right?
Yeah, 36-ish. I've
Sorry.
only given birth a few times.
Right.
I think.
it's your average Christina Ricci weight.
Is she really?
How did you believe that?
That
Is she?
thing,
I think I have trouble with weights.
Hold on.
How many kilograms are we talking about?
How many stones?
Bring it back.
Bringing it back
Bring it
to the thing that's confusing to me, and maybe we can put a picture up on the screen or something, but there's no like, it just looks like it goes on your legs. There's no arm
Right.
things. Does it just support your back and your shoulders, and that's supposed to make you a superhuman?
I think it's and that was a good question that I had as well. Is like, what positions does this actually help you in? It seems to me that it really only helps you in one position, which is holding something standing straight up, like walking around
Yeah.
like this.
I mean, it
Or
look.
flip.
Yeah, essentially, I think it's just for. That's my question.
For the people watching, it looks like, you know, just the back of a backpack with no actual pack. It has some straps and like a belt, and then like Forrest Gump's leg braces.
Yeah, going down to some ski boot looking things, sort of. Better, not closed though.
Yeah.
It's a little silly. I mean, it's clearly a prototype, and you also have to imagine, like, can you kneel down in this thing?
Yeah.
Can you can you get in any kind of awkward positions, or is this basically just for I'm not gonna be able to say that.
Automaton.
Automaton-like
No.
physical activities, right? So.
Yeah, I don't know.
We'll
I
get
mean-
back to you on this. Obviously, we'll probably all be wearing one.
I was just gonna
Next
say,
week.
gonna say, like, this is gonna be like the iPad. Like, who would wear that?
Yeah, right.
Now look, we're all wearing
If
iPads.
you have
Lucky. Lucky Martin.
I'd like to order my
Space
Fortis, please.
Oh, Fortis, yes.
And if you could outfit it with Google Glass, that would be awesome.
That would be great. All right, we gotta bring this in.
Yeah.
So we're moving on to another article about co-directing, and it was written by a director named Joseph Hodge, and it was in American Theater Online. And basically, this is about Joseph Hodge's. Are you upset?
Jordan's just so riveted.
He just loves this website.
Hold on, I'm just gonna.
Obviously, I thought this was a good article. I was interested in his points. He talks about how lonely and isolating directing can be, and also that it is tough to remain critical of your own work, to know if it's good, to challenge yourself when you're sort of in a bubble, and also that directors are sort of expected to come up with a grand plan really early on, and they're like, I don't always know what I'm doing, it's so early, and he's saying that if he has to fight against that urge to not nail stuff down because he knows it's necessary for sets and for costumes and all these things. So a solution, and one he's tried a few times, is co-directing, which he says really fosters a sense of challenging each other, and like looking at your work critically, having more than one hand in there helps. And he also said it sort of relieved his anxiety in that he was like, I know this is gonna work out, like I got one person, instead of like, I'm gonna ruin everything.
But
Yeah.
to me, his voice is so different than what I hear from a lot of directors.
Yeah.
Like, he's clearly a different type of person, different type of director. Is he not?
Yeah.
Is that not?
No, I would say, well, I think it depends. I mean, I've worked with directors who are super open to collaboration. You know, they want to involve everyone, want to create something cohesive, and want to listen to others. And then I've had some who are like, it's like this, you know, and they don't listen at all. And those would probably not make great collaborators, like co-directors. That would probably fight. But I think you're right. It would take a very specific kind of director who's open to change and was open to collaboration for that to work. But he clearly is.
And I think also open to argument.
Right.
Like because I imagine like if you directors have to be pretty opinionated
Sure.
people and know what they want. So to put two of them together, like
Mhm.
I imagine there's a lot of conflict there.
Yeah.
I mean, hopefully mostly constructive. But you know, Caden Manson, who's the new directing faculty here at CMU, he talks about how his productions, which he's kind of the director of, and then his partner Gemma writes them, but I think they kind of direct together. But he says their shows are like arguments basically, and the show is the result of like a long back and forth where they're just arguing about everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, he said that he described the way they work, he and his partner, on a couple of their shows where they basically stage different scenes in different rooms, like without any contact, simultaneously,
Right.
and then sort of stitch them together
Yeah.
afterwards as like a storyboard.
But that they also would sort of switch them, so it wouldn't be like one person directing this scene and another on this scene. It would be sort of like you on this scene today, me on this scene today, and then maybe swapping them later, which I thought was a cool idea.
It probably drives the actors insane.
Probably drives them crazy. It's like this
Yeah,
is
but
not
he
what we
said-
discussed.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, how do you get
Yeah.
around that? I wonder.
It's probably tough.
I mean, it's not foreign to the way we work on all sorts of other projects.
Right.
So you know, and with people underneath us, and we even in the shop, like, you know, well, we get it a lot. Like, we tell somebody how to do something, and 20 minutes later, somebody else goes by and says that's not the way you should do that,
Right.
and it leads to all sorts of stuff. So
Yeah.
to me, go ahead, please.
I'm totally with this idea. Like I feel that pressure myself whenever I'm like have to design something that I end up doing it by myself. I really like collaborating. I pull my assistant in and I say like let's talk about this. Like I give them the ability to have as much input in it as I do.
But how? Okay.
But I also say like no.
But how would you like working for two directors though, who are giving, you know, who are both giving you, have as much weight in the decision-making process and the notes that they give you about your work?
That can be frustrating and complicated to have. Like I'm saying I'm all for it in like my realm as a, you know, assuming that I'm directing some portion of something. But yes, I can see how working under that person might be very frustrating.
It would probably totally depend on the personalities.
Yeah.
You know, I mean,
Yeah.
if they were fighting, and I can please both of you, that could be really tough.
And I assume the goal is that they come to a decision about something.
Exactly. If we all realize like we have the same goal and they acknowledge that and know that you're trying to do your best for everybody, it probably could work. But if it's like a ton of ego involved and that's the main factor, that's probably not.
And he talks about how
Excuse me,
Are you
I
done?
had a piece of almond.
Oh no! I told you you didn't have any in your teeth.
This
Sorry.
always happens in
You must have.
almonds. I don't know what.
Yeah, well, because they're.
the dregs of my Red Bull.
Oh yes, I mean I thought you'd never asked.
This
There's
is
nothing.
some high quality footage.
This is great.
No, but I mean, he talks about how he's had, how he's worked in co-directing situations that have been awful, and I can just see like how easy it would be for a production to just go right down the tubes.
Yeah.
If you know you have like designers who agree with one director more than the other, and then they're like
Right.
pitting
Right.
designers against each other. I mean, I could
Yeah.
just see it being a disaster.
I've seen it happen with choreographers and directors because choreographers are sort of directing parts of the show or parts of a production. And if they are not completely on the same page, it can be very difficult to get something that's gonna work for everybody. It's like someone's gonna be mad, maybe everybody's
Yeah.
gonna be mad.
I mean, I guess it's never easy, so you
Yeah.
just gotta like play around with it and see
Yeah,
the
and I
structure.
hope people are like fun and want the same things, and that doesn't always happen.
Alright, so I have been waiting to talk about this
No.
article.
It's a
Podcast.
meaty piece. It is a
This
juicy
article?
piece.
Yes.
It is
So this
good.
is from the Disney Parks blog.
Oh, that one.
And it's written by Corey McFan, who's the Worldwide Marketing and Business Development Director of Weddings and Honeymoons at Disney, which
She
is a real
has a
title.
miraculous smile.
She does.
It's miraculous. It's a miracle.
So this article, I'm not sure we call it an article, but it's called Disney Wedding Cake Animation Image Mapping.
What
There's
is
a lot
image
going on
mapping,
there.
Jordan?
What is image mapping?
Well, I'm not sure what image mapping is, but projection mapping is when you make your projection fit to a particular surface. So if I wanted to project on the wall behind me and I wanted it
Wedding
to
cake, for instance.
appear, like let's say I'm projecting from straight on, like from where the camera is, and I project over here and I want it to appear as though it's perfectly straight on the wall, I'm gonna have to do some adjusting to get that perspective correct, right? So it's similar with projection. You can project onto the surface of a 4-tiered wedding cake, for instance, and make it look as though it's like this image is emanating from the cake itself. So this is a new thing that they're doing at Disney. If you have your wedding at one of their venues, which you can do,
I'm planning on it. We are planning
somehow
on it.
we've been
Honey, you weren't supposed to.
Sorry, I'm just
This
so
is how you tell the
excited.
world.
You're wearing your ring on the wrong.
It's a
Your
skull if
ring.
you can't
this is
see.
getting really awkward.
This is getting.
Um,
I'm sorry.
I mean, it's not. It's a new thing that Disney's doing, but it's not a new thing.
Right.
Not at all.
Also, their example, I just wrote, my only notes say, insufferable, this is so dumb. Because it's just like
Wow.
Tinkerbell, like running around your cake. It just
Oh.
like, I guess, I don't know, to each his own. I looked at it and was like,
Yeah.
I just was not.
If
They
you're
look
a
at us
five,
the same
if
way.
you're a
Yeah, that's
5-year-old
fine, you
getting
know?
married, I
It's great.
imagine is thrilling.
Right, I can't wait, but I'm not.
I mean, to be fair, in the comments, people were like really excited
They
about
were-
this.
They were very
I
excited.
know, I
Which
mentioned
is
it.
surprising.
I mentioned it upstairs, and they were like, "Oh, that article." I was like, "I hated it," and there was like a dead silence. So I'm probably alone in this, or not alone, but so.
One thing that's interesting that intrigued me about this was just thinking about like the copyright issues of it. So if you want to have like a very Disney specific wedding, if you go
Right.
there,
You can have it.
all
Yeah,
this
yeah.
stuff
Yeah.
without any issues because they're
It's
like
interesting.
contributing to you, which is really, I mean, that's really like
Given some.
heavily licensing their stuff. So anyway,
They're
if
good
you-
at that.
You can check out the video and watch this cake just come to life
Just,
before
just
your eyes.
yeah, it's magical.
It
really.
just blooms.
It's totally
It's
magical.
How did they
Right
do
before
it?
your eyes.
How did she get in there?
Okay, my question is, if you want to have a chocolate cake, you're screwed.
You have to have white icing.
Chocolate icing, forget it.
Really, if you don't want a cake that's a stack of white cardboard boxes,
Essentially.
you're kind of.
I liked how she pointed out her big concern was, but Sally or whatever her name was,
Yeah.
can I still have my traditional cake cutting? Yes, of course you can.
course!
That was like this.
You
that
just
was
have
the
to
first
stand
bit.
behind the cake.
And you just
wow,
need a
that's
box
exploding.
and you just
And you're cutting into her.
Actually, that'd be kind of a cool thing.
For
You
me.
could try to stab Tinkerbell as she's like flying around.
reacts. Yeah, that'd be
Oh,
cool.
nice.
Blood.
This is a new game.
Really
Really tail on
hated this
Tinkerbell.
article.
That's great.
All right.
New
Well,
twist.
thank you for watching today. I'm Jordan,
I'm Andrew.
I'm Kevin.
And I'm Caitlin.
and this is us signing off.
Bye bye.
We got rid of career realism.
Career
Naturally.
It's like
What a waste.
All
Career realism. Career realism.